Hey everybody, welcome to the If Local Leader Gathering podcast. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit of the vision and why we're here. Some of you have considered being an If Local Leader for a long time and you still don't have a clue what it is. I can say that the most common question we still get at If that is a little bit still difficult to answer is, what is If? We are still literally putting together in our own minds what has happened and what will happen and what we are praying to happen. And so it's exciting and weird and crazy to be leading something that is so big and has reached so far, and yet it's still evolving into this beautiful thing that God has called us to. So my name is Jenny Allen, and this dream started for me so many years ago. Middle of the night, wake up, and I just feel this burden in my bones to gather our generation and to disciple our generation. And it turns out that that is a needed thing. We are looking at a world that is crumbling around us, and we are praying for God to move in our time, and we see the need for it, and we want to do this well. I mean, this is what I love about our generation. Even though we get online, and sometimes I know that we get discouraged by dissension and disagreement on issues, what I love is that I see all of you wanting to do this well, wanting to love well, wanting to represent Christ well, wanting to love your neighborhoods, your kids, your workplaces, your college campuses. And so what I love about If is what's happened is it's just become this tool that we put in your hands, that you have this great vision to love your people well, and you take it and use it, and it's just that. It's a tool. So If Gathering is not just this huge movement. It is you that are turning out to be the huge movement. And all we're doing is building tools and putting them in your hands. And God is going crazy through you. So I want to say, first of all, thank you. We are going into our third gathering, which blows my brain that we've existed for almost 3 years. And that it's happening, that this generation is coming together, that discipleship is happening. We just gathered about 500 leaders in Orlando, 500 of you, a lot of you. In fact, if you're watching right now, we are following on our phones what you all are talking about. So tell us if you were part of the If Local Leader Gathering, what you got out of it, why you liked it, what you learned. Share that, because with the hashtag tonight is, what is the hashtag? Do we have a hashtag for tonight?
Visioncast.
We're really prepared here. This is so If of us. If Visioncast tonight. That is our hashtag. If Visioncast. So put that in right now and tell us what you learned from that, because I know a lot of you were a part of it. And so those of you that weren't a part of it, it's okay. It is all online. All of the talks, everything we went through and processed together is online. You can get that. We'll send out that link after this is over. So what I love, though, is that we came together and there was just this common, unified heart. There was a verse that I feel like just sums up all of you that have been leading for us already. And it is in 2 Corinthians 12, and it's verse 14. And it's Paul, and he's talking to his people, and he says, you know what? I'm not going to be a burden, and I seek not what is yours, but I seek you. That you are after your people, and you're not trying to get something from them. You're not trying to build your own kingdom. You're trying to build God's kingdom, and you're trying to love people well. And then it says in verse 15, and I love this verse. I feel like this is the mission of our lives at If. I will most gladly spend and be spent for your souls. And so I love that that's happening, and meeting so many of you in person in Orlando, or as I've traveled and spoken, that is what is happening. You are just poured out for the people that are around you. You want to see change happen. You want to see lives that didn't know Christ to know him, and you want to see people that have not been discipled. And as I have just carried this burden of leading this thing and praying, God, what is next, and what is the next movement that you want to cause through these incredible people that are gathered everywhere? You know, it isn't enough, and it never has been, for us to gather in February. I love February. It's special. I mean, are you kidding me? All these incredible people gather in little spots all over the map. But that still is only an event unless we walk away the next day and we actually go and live differently. And so it's happening. A lot of you are doing it. And so I want you to know, though, that the biggest thrust and the biggest hope that we have is that we can equip you to go make disciples who make disciples in the local church and for the local church. When we talk about gather, equip, and unleash, which is what our mission statement is, it's really just words for discipleship. We are praying that you, as you go through your time and you take these tools, that you not only are being discipled and in knowledge through equip and understanding God better, but you also are becoming leaders and you are actually taking initiative for your people. And that's what we've seen as we've talked to you, as we've heard your stories. It is beautiful, whether it's racial reconciliation circles that have been started or if tables that have brought together different generations in churches that have been divided. It's happening. And I don't want to miss or waste what God has given us with this short time. I feel like, we won't exist forever. It is the local church that I believe in. I'm a church girl. I believe that we exist to build the church. And so we'll serve our purpose in our days. I don't know if that'll be 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, but we'll go away. And my girls, they will not, be a part of it. I don't know. Maybe we'll exist still. Who knows? But I know that the church will exist. I know that if we've done our job and we've made disciples and we have invested in the local church and we've pushed you and your people back into local churches, then we had a great existence and we did good work whenever we go away. And so that is my dream. I just want to be so clear about that because it is cool. I mean, I kind of can't believe how cool it is as far as just you all have made it something special and beyond the bounds of a silly word that nobody even knows what it means. It's just taken on a life of its own. And I love that, and it's fun because it bonds us, all the different denominations, all the different races, all the different countries for crying out loud. Right now, there are almost 1,000 if local groups. 1,000. That's just, it's November. We still have months. So it's insane. And multiple countries are represented. And I mean, all the big cities, it's absolutely beautiful what's happening. And it takes on a life of its own. And it could be that we're just trying to build this big kingdom of if. But I want to be so clear. We are not building a big kingdom of if. We are gladly being spent and spending for the saving of souls. And so we are about that. That is who we are. And if you want to be about that and you think, okay, I want to do this, I have no idea what to do. What do we do? Let me just start by saying it is so simple. And what we want from you is to one, that you would be a part of a local church, and two, that you would just be willing to take initiative and to gather and to lead people in your places, wherever that is. So come and be a part of this. If you have been waiting, there's really not a reason to. You can open your home. It's so simple. I love some of my favorite gatherings. In fact, if I weren't in Austin, I would probably be in my pajamas, at a lake house or at a friend's house with a bunch of food, hanging out with people I love, and hopefully inviting some people that need it too. So don't feel like you need to make a big production of this. And one of the things, I know you all have so many questions, and if you've been here very long, that I can't answer most of them. But Amy Brown and Lindsay Nobles are the brains behind If Gathering, and they're going to join me in just a minute, and we're going to talk to not only them, but also some If local leaders that are actually on the ground and have been living this out and have been doing some really creative and unique things through their If locals, and then also with it. They've just taken it to the next level. And so we're excited for you to meet some of them. We'd love for you to, a lot of you, I love this because some of you are old If local leaders. You have been doing this for this will be your 3rd year. And then some of you just don't even have a clue what it is, but you're curious. And so right now on Twitter, use the hashtag tonight, If Visioncast. That's the one we just picked. Creative people that we are. And start talking to each other about your questions, about you that have led this even one time, get on there and start just saying, this is what happened for us, this is what we did in our cities. And so tell us where you are, where you're from. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring up Amy Brown and Lindsay Nobles, and we're going to get to talking to a bunch of different people that have been doing this for a little while. So come on up. And I know one of the things that you all may or may not know is what we're going to be doing this year in February, and we want to really focus in on Jesus. We want to look at his life and what he did, and how he lived and how did he love. I just feel like there are so many tensions in our culture right now that he is not surprised by, that he has a plan for and knows how to engage. And so we're going to look at the different points in Jesus' life and how has he dealt with conflict. Because honestly, at the time, he entered history at a time when there was a lot of conflict and there was a lot of despair. And so I don't think we are sitting here in a time in history that's never been lived before. There has been, over the years, through church history, difficult issues that the church has had to address. So we're going to look at what Jesus did and how he lived for that. And so do you all have anything to add? First of all, Lindsay Nobles is the Chief Operating, what are you, COO? Chief Operating Officer? Is that what it stands for? I think so. She's the boss of us all. And then Amy Brown is Communications Director, but so much more. And she is actually over If Locals. She answers so many of your questions. In fact, everybody on Twitter right now, shout out, we love Amy Brown, because we know that she takes care of so many things for you and all of the details, all the many questions logistically that you have. And so we're excited to get to talk to some of these leaders. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about why you chose these specific leaders?
Absolutely. One of the best parts about my job is that I get to hear from so many of you all across the country and all across the world. I have friends now in Japan and Uganda and Rwanda, and it's such an honor and a privilege to just get to come alongside you and help you gather, equip, and unleash women in your towns. And so these three women specifically stood out to me tonight because, first of all, we've got a veteran team. We've got two leaders in Northwest Arkansas who have kind of done the gamut of If gathering tools and hosted various If locals all over. And then we've got Kim, who I'm so excited to introduce you to, and she is a new first-time If local leader, and I'm encouraged by her story, and I think you will be too. And then last is Emily Fox, and Emily is an If local leader in Kentucky, and she just got to be a part of God's move through last year's If gathering, and so I believe that her story will be a big encouragement to you. So let's start first with Emily, and Emily, why don't you just tell everyone a little bit about kind of your experience hosting an If local and just encourage women out there who are thinking about doing it themselves this year.
Okay, so I host, like Amy said, an If local in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. So shout out to my team in E-Town. Love them. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, wonderful. So we have a group, a real unique group that comes from about 6 or 7 different churches. We come together. There are 25 on our leadership team. That jumped because our gathering got bigger, and so we needed more people. But last year, no one in this city had ever heard of If gathering, and so here's this little big-haired woman that comes diddy-bopping in asking them to do this thing that they don't even know what is. But those women kind of came on, and they did. And I just kind of want to pause here for a second and say that as an event planner, I was so worried about all the things, you know, the environment and the experience and the flowers and all of that stuff. And so our first meeting, our team ranges in age from, I think we've got a little young thing like 24 or something to a 70, someone in their 70s. And so one of the ladies who's a generation ahead of me, we were all talking about all the things. And about midway through the meeting, she said, "Can I ask, has anyone committed to pray for the event?" And at that moment, everything kind of stopped. And we backpedaled a little bit and said, you know what, who cares about all the things if we aren't focused on praying for the event? And so she began to develop this beautiful prayer prompt, kind of series of prayer prompts. And what I love about this is that we didn't even know y'all were doing that, and you ended up doing it at the end last year. And so I think that's a really good testament to how God is kind of weaving us together to be like-minded. So we spent about 2 weeks. Miss Debbie would just send out prayer prompts to our team. And so I'm going to tell you about this really cool thing that happened at our gathering. But when I tell you it, I think it's because of the work that we did prior to that, all the praying that we did. So we did that for 2 weeks, and then our group came together, and we used the tools from If Pray to come together as a group and lead we led the group through this prayer service. So I say all that to tell you, our event was prayed over, prayed up, ready to go before the first table decoration was ever put on. And we had a friend who came in who was self-proclaimed atheist. I mean, it's a harsh, I don't know how else to say it. And she told us that before she came in, but what was enticing to her is, if God is real, then what? She felt comfortable and safe enough to come because that was the question. And about midway through the conference, Ann Boskamp was praying, and Rebecca said that it just gave her the freedom to empty out all of those things that she didn't even know she needed to ask for forgiveness for. And at the end of the conference, she came up to me and she just said, I believe. And we knew as a team that all that prayer and all those weeks of praying and that entire 2 hours of prayer service was worth it, because we were praying for Rebecca, and we didn't even really know at that time. And so Rebecca got baptized like 2 weeks ago.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So cool, Emily.
Yeah, we think so.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are sitting out there and asking yourself, is this friendly for people who are seeking or may not be, professing faith? Invite them. We want to create a safe space for people to go deep and wrestle with those questions. And so, as you're going to see from Emily's example, that Rebecca was able to do that, and pray that was a common issue.
Yeah, I want to just say about that I think people are hungry for God. I think that we can start to watch the news and think there's just such that people don't want to talk about Jesus or God. And honestly, what I have found is that people are eager. If you will ask them about themselves and their soul, how they're doing, first of all, most people aren't doing very well. And I think that if you love them well and you say, hey, come to this, we're going to talk, be honest, say we are going to talk about Jesus, don't trick them, thinking that it's just a big party. It is deep. We're pretty honest and raw. We definitely dig in. But I wouldn't ever call us seeker-friendly, but I would say that what I think people are looking for is not a watered-down version of what we believe. They just want to see if it's real, and they want to see and hear real stories of people that have needed forgiveness, that have needed something, anything. And I think you all set the culture and the tone for that. You set a place of humility and a place of, we're all broken and we all need God here. And so I would challenge you just to be brave and bring people in. And we'll do our best to be sensitive to the fact that there's a lot of people out there that may not believe in Jesus as well. Absolutely.
Now, let's do Nina and Amy. They have been leading in Northwest Arkansas, and I just want to hear from you guys a little bit about what you're leading in local over a large area, what that's meant to you, what you've seen God do through just kind of taking those steps of obedience.
So right before the first gathering, I had just moved to a place and didn't know anybody, and so Nina and I both had the experience of watching IF at home from our couches by ourselves. And if you know anything about IF gathering, it's not meant to be done by yourself. So a short time later, I arrived in Northwest Arkansas, did not know a soul, went to my pastor of a very small church and said, hey, what if we did this for a women's conference, and maybe a few of our friends will come and hang out and it'll be fun. And he went in and was doing his research and Googled IF in Northwest Arkansas to see what was out there. For what reason we don't know exactly, Nina's name popped up, and so we say that Google and God put us together. We did a relive at my church in September of 2014. And we had space for 70 women, and at that point, nobody really in the area knew anything about IF or what it was. We had space for 70, and 70 came, and then we immediately turned around and started planning for 5 months later for 2015 for the big gathering. A larger church offered us some space. We had room for 200, and 200 showed up again.
And I would say that we are the most unlikely. I just want to speak to people who have never led a Bible study or have never been in an official women's ministry role. We just both had a fire that we sensed in each other and a need in our community for women to be real with each other and to show each other what it looked like to chase, to chase after God's heart and to develop a relationship with Him in a really, really real way. And so He put us together, and we are very unlikely. We are, event planning is definitely not our skill set at all. We're very type C, if that's even a thing. But He sent teammates to help us out. And for me, really, when I'm asked about if and what it's done, we're such a big community. I don't know every story, but it's changed me. The trust that I learned about hosting, the love that He has for us, the faithfulness that He provides when we have no skills, when we're on our knees, and that's what it's prepared me for life and for ministry to those around me, more than even knowing what has happened as a result, as far as the women who came to our gathering. And it's been really, the most fun thing is to watch our community grow too. Through social media, our entire corner of our state. I just feel like we could move mountains if we had to, because we have so many sisters who are like-minded, and the only banner that we need is Jesus. And so it's been super fun to watch Him work. All we do is kind of show up and throw some Cheerios at the kids and just give it our best.
God is all about His own glory, and so He made that very clear throughout the whole process, that it was never about us or about anybody that was involved. And my favorite part was just watching Him show up and work things out in ways that only He could do it, and through us, because we both felt very unprepared and unlikely to do this job. So
I think that is a common theme. I think that's how we all feel a little bit about this. And I think that's part of the power and the glory that God gets, is that He has done this. And I think about Northwest Arkansas. I went to college up there, Hoot City. I'm Arkansas. I love you girls. I've met a lot of you. And so it's so fun to think, gosh, this is magical, really, that we get to be a part of each other's ministries and a part of this great big team that is doing the same thing. I think it's one of our favorite parts about it, is that it feels like we're on a really big team.
One of my favorite stories I heard recently she's probably like in her early 60s, and it was her first time ever leading anything, and it wasn't perfect, and it was kind of awkward sometimes, and it was a little disjointed, her F local, and she was just blown away, because regardless of her preparation or the awkward moments, she just saw God move. And she said, I will be a fool anytime for God's glory. It's so worth it. And it's just, that's what we hear time and time again. It's just so encouraging to see God show up and move through our messy hashtags and our, imperfect strategies and all those things. So most of you are probably sitting out there a lot like Kim. And so we're excited. We were excited to get to know Kim in Orlando, and she just has such a beautiful heart and a beautiful spirit. And Kim, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you heard about it, gathering, and kind of the journey you've been on since you first heard about it?
I'd love to do that. First of all, I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and the temperatures are dropping. So the best part about my seat right now is this looks really great, but I have my PJs on the lower half anymore. This whole thing was, I want to say it's by accident, but it's so providential. God is so good. I was in a time of my life of waiting. I had a lot of loss, and I was in a 3-year period of waiting. And in the middle of that time, a dear friend of mine in Minnesota called on a Monday and was explaining this thing she was doing in her home, this if thing, and I'm like, okay, right over my head, I have no idea what you're talking about. And she said, well, I know it's Monday, but can you come on Friday? Just come to my house. So I got online right away, and now while she's explaining it to me, I'm busy pushing all the buttons, and I booked a flight for myself. And by the time the conversation was over, I was going to be on my way to Minnesota. So I arrived on that Friday afternoon, and my experience was in a home with about 35 to 40 of the most beautiful women I have met. And it was such a joy to spend Friday night with them, eating dinner and having all day Saturday and just taking in If. And who knew? I had no idea what it was going to be like. So it was such a surprise to me. And I came back home so on fire. My husband was like, well, what is it? I don't know. I can't explain it. It's If. I don't know. So I tried to explain everything, but it was really fun because what it did is it catapulted me into the next step of If tables. And I decided if I'm going to, get more involved, I'm going to try to figure out how to do this. So then I started If tables in my home. The youngest is about 26, and the oldest woman is close to 70. And that's beautiful. And what shocked me with that is the very first table out of the gate, they dove right in the water, and there was no hesitancy, the first question. And there were tears, and I had a brand new believer at the table, and others were seasoned, and it was just the most beautiful 5 hours we've ever had. It was just great. And so then we started to, could you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. You're sorry. I think
Your language. So we were doing If tables, and in the meantime, my friend asked me to come to Orlando to be her pal. And so I went to Orlando to be her buddy, and we met incredible people from all over the country, and people were asking and texting me, what's it like? Are you having fun? What are you expecting? And I'm like, I'm just going to be her pal. And the very first night, we met a now dear friend from Connecticut, the group of women in Groton, Connecticut, and just from all over. And the If pray, to have gotten a text from my daughter-in-law here in town in Grand Rapids, I see you, I'm praying with you, I'm praying for all of you. I was so moved to think, we truly are global right now. And you all told the stories of all the women globally. And then to get that text from Michelle was such a gift to my heart. And I thought, this is the body. This is what we're doing. And to pray with believers that I never met before was just so powerful that Monday night at Pray. And then Tuesday morning, when you all buttoned it up, it was so moving to me. And I texted my husband. I said, I'm pathetic, but I'm just done. I'm just done. I'm wrecked. I'm done. I'm in. I'm sold out. So the Lord was just so clear. You need to take it back home. So back to Grand Rapids I go, meet with some people, and our elder board has been great. We have no clue. I'm an If baby. Our team right now, we're all If babies. But I had no idea who to have on the team, and I just would lay in bed at night and go, you have to supply it. You have to put them together. And we just have a brilliant team of women. I mean, it's so nice to be able to be in a position where you just know you've delegated some work out and we are all doing our part, and I don't have to even think about some of the things that they're doing. And truly, we have no idea what we're doing, but we're on it, and we're on the ride, and we are so excited. We have a spot for about 450 people, and we're on the west side of Grand Rapids, and it's not an affluent area whatsoever. In fact, it's very high poverty rate. So my dream, and I know our team's dream, is to get vans, and we want to be able to pick up the women who are homeless, women who are just in so much poverty on the west side of Grand Rapids, pick them up, invite them to worship with us, invite them to spend time with us, eat with us, be in community with us for just a couple days. And so really kind of branch out into the community of Grand Rapids. It is sheer joy.
Awesome. Well, we wanted to thank you so much for that, Kim, because I do think that a lot of you are like Kim, and this is your first year, and you're just jumping in, and you are interested in posting this because you don't know what to do next. And so we want to talk a little bit about that. We want to answer some of your questions. They're coming in fast and crazy, so we're getting them. We've been reading them here. And so we're going to keep actually some of these leaders here that have led before too, and we might refer back to them and let them answer some questions as well. I want to start I'm going to actually ask Amy a question, but one of the questions I want to answer first is Elizabeth. You asked Michael on Twitter, you said, how can we keep engaging the women attending if after it's over, what are your best ideas? We are actually going to provide for you a resource center this year of ideas. It is clearly described as table reading, and the first steps and ideas of women, different stories of ways that women have used If Table. Because the fun thing is, you all are way more creative than us. We give you a tool, and the ways you use it are incredible. So we're going to give you different Bible studies that we can see you using in living rooms and in your churches. We're going to give you different ways to use If Equip. We're going to lay out a resource center so that you can take the tools that we build and you can decide how to engage through your church, with your people in your neighborhood, the different ways to continue If Local and reading throughout the year. I just wanted you to hear that first, and we'll provide that by or January-ish. Maybe. That's great. So anyway, we're working on that. Now I want to ask Amy, as far as the first step, so the person out there that says, I want to sign up and I want to become an If Local leader, speak to them for a minute. What's the first thing they need to do? And as far as gathering and deciding what they need to decide.
So the basic things that you need to decide as you're coming together to form an If Local are kind of step back and pray. What is the purpose for gathering? Is it to bring together women in your neighborhood? Is it to bring together women from your church? Is it big, audacious dreams of bringing together women across your whole city? And based on that, you pick a venue. You can watch it in a living room. You can watch it in a church rec room. You can watch it in the sanctuary, all across the city, coffee shops. I mean, I've heard it all. Basements, lake homes, all of it. So pick a location. The key part about what you need on a very basic level is that internet speed. Unfortunately, technology is just a part of the picture, and we're not super comfortable with it, and it's can be hard. But if you go to itgathering.tumblr.com, there's instructions right there on the internet speed that is bare minimum required in order to watch a live stream. So, and you can even test it right there as well. So you gotta have internet, you gotta have a way to watch the content that weekend, and then you gotta have conversation cards, because that's a staple of our culture here at If Gathering. We don't just receive, but we process and we apply and we take steps of obedience. So if you have a venue and you have that has a great, safe, comfortable space for women, you have a way to watch and then ways to discuss what you're watching, you can pretty much host an If Local. So you can throw it together a week before or 5 weeks before, but that's the bare minimum.
And where do they go to register? So right now, if you want to sign up to become an If Local leader, we'll start communicating with you. We're going to give you emails. We're going to actually encourage you to join our Facebook group where there's 8,000, is that right? There's 8,000 women there that are signed up to be If Local leaders.
In the If Local group.
In the If Local group on the Facebook page. So where do they go to sign up?
Yeah, if you go to itgathering.com, underneath that Gather tab, you'll see a specific page for this year's event, and you're just going to want to click on If Local. And you have the option to host, which is this If Local leader piece. You're actually going to host an event, is what you're committing to do. Or you can click to attend. Say you can't, you feel led to be a part of one this year. There's a map there, actually, that you can zoom in on and discover in your area different gatherings. And so check that out at ifgathering.com.
Okay. So what would you say for the person that says, okay, I've signed up, this is the first time that I'm hosting, and they need to know what it looks like to gather a team of people?
Yeah. As you can tell from these women, and I'd actually love to hear from Emily or Nina and Amy about just how your teams were formed, because I've heard about it from a lot of different ways, but ifgathering.tumblr.com actually has examples of different If Local leadership team structures and kind of how it broke down. But from what I can tell, generally speaking, is that women some of them know their giftings and know their strengths and know who they know in town, and they come together and they divide up those roles based on what they're good at and what they're comfortable with. So, Nine and Amy, do you guys have kind of some advice on that?
I think that it was amazing the way that we just kind of put feelers out in the community to say who wants to help lead, and then when we got together, God provided the tech savvy person or the child care savvy person or the decorations. You just pray it out, and it was really amazing how they all showed up to do that. We gathered a really great team and just communicated, delegated so that it wasn't all on us, and went from there.
Yeah, another part of that is just kind of also using the resources to come together to save money and to keep this simple and pure. So what are some of the ways that you guys also utilize one another to provide snacks, meals, and things like that?
Yeah, our town is resourced with lots of vendors, and so we put the feelers out, and it was so fun to get people saying, I've got chips, I've got candy, I've got pie. We're at her house right now. So just a wealth of free stuff. Our food costs were like $6 a person per meal based on generous local businesses who gave us a box lunch for $6 and really made the cost come in an amazing job. We had a local wedding planner who donated everything out of her closet and her time and energy. I wasn't even planning on decorating. I mean, that's just not my thing, and it turned out so beautiful, way more than we could have imagined.
So I wanted to take another one of your questions. Lindsay Griffiths asked if there is a little elevator speech to explain to people who have never heard of it before. And I will say, I'll try it. That would be great. Do y'all want to?
I feel like it's unfair if you could just kick it to us first.
I know. Well, okay. So what I say is that we dream of women from every denomination, and race, and country, and city in the country to come together to under the name of Jesus and to consider what it looks like for us to be unified and to unleash our gifts for the good of people and the glory of God in our time. And ultimately, we exist, if you're talking to your churches, we exist to build tools to equip you, the leaders in your places, to go into your churches and to make disciples. That's really what we do. Within the gathering, we consider that a tool. It's just a live stream that you all take at the pool and you build an experience around it, and you serve your church and you serve your cities and you serve your neighbors and your people. So that's your speech. What would you say?
It's great. I just keep it simple. The sentence that's on the first page of our website is what we exist to gather, equip, and unleash women to live out their calling. And that's
But vote if the people that you're telling that's not
know
enough
what
for.
that means.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know it because I've done it. I've tried just that, and it's not enough.
I usually say that I compliment. I do the vision and say, really, like we try to provide spaces for people who are wrestling. And the question, I'll talk sometimes about the question that if God is real, what does that mean about how we live out our lives, and really challenging us to look at what we say we believe and looking at our lives and matching the two. And that, the gathering, equipping and unleashing are really just fancy words for discipleship, that they all kind of work together of like, how do we love each other better and love God more? And so just trying to like break it down for the churchy folk, but yeah.
We don't want you to say it's a conference, okay? Just don't say that, because it is. It's a gathering of people, and it's special, and February is awesome. But what's happening between February and February is actually more special and powerful than the 2 days that we come together. Even though we love it, we do. Okay, I have to tell you something. I'm just gonna break for a minute because I meant to tell you this earlier. I ate chicken wings right before I came. I know. Lindsay's very favorite thing.
I thought I was not there.
I know, but I know, but it smells so good.
And I am so close to you right now.
I know. You haven't said something. She hates. What do you hate about them?
The bones and like the way that people like gnaw on the bone.
I love it.
And then they like lick their fingers.
I do. Okay, so if you like chicken wings, I want you to tweet right now and be like, Jimmy, I love chicken wings. So
Yeah.
no, I hate chicken wings, and we're gonna see like who's more
Do a
loyal.
Twitter poll. Y'all, let's
Oh,
use a
yes.
Twitter polling.
It's gotta do it. My daughter is here.
Do
Doing
a
a
Twitter
poll.
poll.
If somebody gets on Twitter and be like, why is this happening?
Chicken wings.
That's what they are.
No, but if you have a question that you want us to answer, please use the hashtag #ItVisionCast, and we'll do our best to get to this. We've got some more.
Okay, we've got lots of questions.
And I would also
We'll get to
compliment the last one with the pastor packet being an amazing
Yes.
resource. It's
Oh my gosh.
available in our shop A, and it is gonna have
And
all the
Information.
information.
They call it the shop A. I just don't understand. It's just the shop. It's
I know even shop is would spell the way that
But
it
we
is.
make fun of it.
We're making fun of
we're
it.
making fun of it.
We're making
Just
fun of
need to clarify.
Yes. It's like Tarjay, you know? It's the,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just
okay,
we're making fun of ourselves.
Green Tree Church asks, how does each session break out? Worship, teaching, conversation, questions, ...
Yes, all those things,
All
right?
those things.
We're gonna have all the sessions, we'll have all those things.
All the sessions will have all those things, and I would add storytelling.
Storytelling.
Stories from women who are trying to like live this out practically. As well.
It's gonna have all that, and they probably wanted to know exactly how
I know.
it would all lay out.
Yeah.
Like, keep lots of secrets here, partly because we don't know. We never know. But it is coming together, and it's so exciting. I
Really
cannot wait. And what I love is that every year God reveals what it is He wants to accomplish in this time, and He's doing it. It's just never early. It's always.
But I'm decided that it's better that it comes late than instead of it coming and then him changing his mind about what it looks like.
We don't have time to change minds.
Yes,
Yes.
it's just gonna come once.
Coming.
On January 12th,
People love
we will
chicken
actually
wings.
release a
Love
detailed
chicken wings.
schedule.
I need a poll. I
Team
need a poll.
chicken wings. We have a hashtag. Sorry, Amy. Okay.
So if you, on January 12th, we'll actually release a detailed schedule that will say, it will show you how the session will actually break out. It'll say things like introduction, speaker one, conversation break, so you'll get a flow and idea of how it's all going to go.
Let's talk about worship here too, because a lot of you want to do your own worship. That's one reason you want the schedule in advance. Talk about that for a minute.
So we absolutely encourage you and cheer you on to have your own live worship at your venue. We also have some of the best worship leaders in the world on stage at Gathering. So it's a win-win. You can worship alongside us or have your own worship. Based on the feedback from last year, here's my recommendation. Do not watch live and also try to do live worship. It's just too hard. What we've done this year is created a recommended if local schedule that actually lays out the sessions over that weekend, but it lays it out to where you're watching it on a delay. So that as a host, as a worship leader, you can see how and where you fit in. Just to encourage you guys this year, as a staff, we really programmed If Local first. And we're taking that approach towards our program for the event. So we're thinking through how do we better build in that transition from a live worship at a local venue to a speaker. And we're planning on kind of doing the production slightly more advanced and tailored towards you guys. So we're really excited about that. And again, around that January 12th date, we'll provide you with more information about kind of some of those strategies and what that looks like. But we've got some of the best production minds on it, and they know that If Local is where it's at. And so we're programming for you, and then get Austin after that. So
Yeah, I think just the more that y'all can be patient with us, and we know it's hard, and wait for those tools and resources, I think in January we will have some more solid details for you that will help you build an event that complements the content that we are going to provide if you're doing your own worship. So just hold tight and maybe start forming a team and things like that, but we are dreaming about how we can expand even our tools and resources for y'all as you think through worship. So
we also encourage you to consider starting with the first session in the evening, because we know a lot of people are going to not be able to come till after work or after husbands are home for kids or after they're out of class. So we would encourage you we're building schedules. You can go to the If Gathering Tumblr page, which is ifgathering.tumblr.com. And if you can give us your email, where's a place they can give us their email without having to sign up so they can start getting information? Go to the Facebook page. Let's have them join that. And you're going to start getting information. I mean, what?
You can't send emails from Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
if there's
if
something
you
that we'll
register,
get good enough.
you get emails, so I'm not worried.
And we'll send you the Tumblr page, and we'll send you the Facebook page, and you'll start getting communication.
Absolutely.
And we always do it. You definitely should join the Facebook page because we're always updating it. But
Well, I think that what I'm thinking about are what about the people that still have a lot of questions, and that this isn't enough, and they still need to get some of those answered. I would say just go ahead and register. You can make it a private event. You don't have to put all your details. You can literally just put your city, your zip code, a few details about your gathering, whatever you know, and then go back in later and fill in those details.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a specific page that will walk you through our registration system if you just go to registration.tumblr.com. And Emily, you're a big time planner. You love this piece of it. Talk to us about what your experience last year in getting this information, mid-January for the February gathering. How did it all play out for you guys?
Okay. One thing that I tried to do last year is, I say I'm an event planner, but my team laughs because we plan a pretty decent sized gathering with 2 meetings. I just equipped my team leaders, so I have 5 of them. They are over what you all call experience, so the conversation cards and the goodie bags and all that stuff. So a team leader over experience, a team leader over environment, so decorating and all that stuff. A team leader over in food, because that is super important. A team leader over communications, because I can't handle that many social media accounts. So she does all that. And then a team leader over check-in and registration to handle all that kind of stuff. And so that's how we did it. We have those 5 team leaders, and then I just really equip them to go and do what they say they're going to do. And so they coordinate with their volunteer teams, and then we come together once in November to kind of meet each other, and then we come together again in January. One thing that I did just this week is once you all gave us that date of January 12th, I pushed because we were planning on meeting like January 7th or something, so I pushed that meeting back because I feel like we really need to have that information in our hands before we meet again. And once you give us that, gosh, that suggested schedule is so good. And then, if there's anybody new out there for the first time, I would just say, just chill. It's going to be okay that you guys give us all the information, and 2 weeks ahead of time. I know that sounds stressful, and I promise you, as a control freak type A person, it sounds scary. I know, but just trust the team, I guess.
Yeah, we really do believe that part of the power of this is that it's just kind of raw and messy, and it's not perfectly planned. And
we're trying to equip gatherings that have 600 women down to 6 women in the living room. And so there's going to be a lot of information that might be super overwhelming and way too detail-oriented. Skip it. You have total permission here. I mean, we are all about simple and pure. And so we're going to give you that base minimum, but then there's going to be times where we're going to talk about team leads and budgets and things that it's going to be way overwhelming, and you have full permission to just keep scrolling through Facebook and completely ignore us.
Yeah. I wanted to give you some fun announcements. One is that we are going to be offering sign language this time. And so I know that some of you have asked that question, in fact, even on the Twitter stream, if you have deaf or hearing impaired friends that want to be a part. And so we are going to offer that. It will be accessible to the deaf community, and so reach out to them, include them. And I would say also we are working on different translations. Spanish and that type of thing is so expensive, so we just have to figure that out. It is tedious, but we want to do it, and so we're working toward that. As many countries are represented, and then not to mention just the diversity in our different cities. We want to reach that. I want to say, too, here that I would challenge you to think out of the box about who you bring in and how you take it and go and use it, because some of our favorite stories have been those of you that have, one, gathered in prisons, gathered in homeless shelters, gathered in places, nursing homes. We've loved your stories. It's absolutely incredible. And some of you have also gone and really intentionally invited your team, your leadership team, you have invited different denominations to the table to help host this so they feel bought in. And you've invited different races to the table. And we want to encourage you to do that. We are growing in that as well and bringing a lot of different people to the table. I mean, Joe Saxton is texting me a lot, just praying and involved and dreaming about how we can expand that. And so Helen Lee, a lot of people are processing that with us right now. We want you to be doing that on a local level. And so we are working here to also include global speakers. There's going to be a speaker this year from India. We're trying to represent what's happening out there with you. But we need you all to take risks as we take risks and bring different people to the table. We also want to tell you, in fun announcement, that we are going to have free registration for all of you that are going to host in county jails, centers for teen moms. You're going to be able to have a code. Is that right?
Well, what we want you to do is go to ifgathering.com/outreach, and there's a form, and we want to communicate directly with you and be able to provide the live stream free of charge, because there's going to be other challenges, and we want to encourage you in any way that we can to kind of take it to those groups of people and really get outside of that.
I mean, I've gotten to be a part of prison ministry here several times, and I mean, I'm telling you, people are hungry. Like, you take this into the prisons, if you have access, if you can find somebody that is ministering there already and give them this. We want to make this free for them. So we are going to do everything we can to make it super easy and to help them out. But we need you all to make those connections and to help us bridge into those places. So we're excited about that. Absolutely.
All right, 8:53. A couple more questions.
Yeah.
Let's write it out. And then if we don't get to your question, we've got a whole team of people behind the scenes that will get on Facebook and get on Twitter and get you more information as we have it.
Kelly Miner asked, it says, we are considering doing several host homes versus one large venue for gathering. Any insights, advice? So I was curious what y'all think.
Well, I think when I think of, it's interesting. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas, and Fellowship Bible Church there. My friend Catherine Mack runs the women's ministry, and he's built an incredible I think there were 600 people there last year. They did it in a huge church. The year before that, they were in homes, and there were still a ton of people that gathered. This year, I think they might even do a combination of being in homes and then coming together at the end. I mean, I really think it's, if you know your people, do what they love. It's powerful in every way.
Nina and Amy are actually moving towards that model this year. If you guys have any insights, I welcome them here. But one thing that other leaders have brought up is that as a host, you have to provide your own kind of technical support to those different host sites. So that's kind of an added task to kind of every day of work. But Nina, have y'all had any insights yet on trying to organize a decentralized kind of local in-house?
Yeah, that's the plan this year. We have had 6 houses in one neighborhood say yes. When we decided not to host a large gathering, 6 other churches said yes, so we were able to step back and do small gatherings in our pajamas this year. We're just still a little bit excited, but we're just gonna do the test ahead of time, make sure that the people, there's somebody in charge in each home of technology.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things about just one of the questions a lot of people are asking, because we're different from a lot of other conferences or gatherings, that we don't announce our speakers, and there's a lot of mystery in what is going to happen in February. And so I know we all have to answer those questions too, and it is very different, but we want y'all to hear us say that it's intentional and that we really want this to be about us coming together to really focus on the life of Jesus. And we will have incredible teachers and hopefully introduce y'all to different stories that you've never heard before. We will, it's the element of surprise and release of control, I think, is something that God has really used in this. And so we all want to know so that we can, and then we have expectations attached to it. So I think it's been really, we've all seen it be really powerful for there to be the element of mystery for us coming in, because you're not like, oh, I just want to hear, Jenny Allen, and you can't wait until you're hearing her, but sometimes you miss everything leading up, and so it's just, it really is all intentional and just the posture of
Well, and I also think there's such a celebrity mentality in our culture that we're combating. I mean, this is not about, yes, we are blessed with some of the greatest speakers in Christendom to be a part of it, but this isn't about that. We don't celebrate people, we celebrate Jesus. And so we're coming together under his name. And I've even thought, as we grow, a lot of you have incredible stories, and this year we're going to feature some of your stories. And we want this attitude and excitement of what God is doing in our day and what's happening in all of your places to be the emphasis, and for Jesus to be the center of it and not names. And so I think we've just tried to keep that low, and everyone agrees with it. And all the people that have participated in it, all the leaders that love it and are part of it, they love that. They love that it's not about them. And so we just keep that as the goal here.
What would you say to somebody who's trying to explain that to their pastor or
Okay, so theology is of course a question for your churches and pastors. My church they're hosting it for the first time this year, and they had some questions theologically. I just want you to know that while we're bringing together people of different denominations, we are bringing people together that are under the Nicene Creed. They believe in the elements of Orthodox Christianity. We are not going to address the political issues of our day in a divisive way. We don't have an agenda other than to make Jesus' name great, to teach the Bible. We teach the Bible. I think a lot of people said that last year. It was so refreshing to be in a conference that just walked through passages of Scripture, the life of Joshua. In 2 days, there was a big theme, and we dug deep into the passages. So we hold tightly to Scripture. We lift up Jesus. We hold to the Nicene Creed and Orthodoxy. We also do not, while different people might get on stage and believe different things about the role of women in the church or on political issues, nobody's talking about that on the stage. We are talking about our faith and the things that unite us. So you can, of course it's live and we can't completely control everything, but I will say everybody we ask understands the weight of that and the goals of that, and understands that many of you are coming from different denominations, and that our goal is to tear down walls, not to build them. So I would say just know that as far as leaders and our board that leads IF Gathering, my husband is the head of that board. They pray about this. They fight for this. Everything on IF Equip, every content piece we put out is edited theologically, just to be sure there's nothing that's divisive. So we're careful. We're really careful, even though we bring different people together. That's good. Okay.
Copyright.
All right. So exciting. So fun.
Ladies. So
we actually had a couple questions that are direct.
I know, yeah.
To it.
Y'all are ready for a conversation on copyright.
And this will be quick. We're about to be done.
Yeah, we're about to be done, and we'll provide more black and white language about this, so you can run things through that filter from this point on. But
y'all might not have realized it, but as you went through the registration process this year, y'all signed some legalese about the trademark and copyright around IF Gathering. And just wanted to give you a little background on why that was included. We have a lawyer friend, Erin, that is helping us just steward our brand and really protect us. And I think, as IF grows and everyone is using these different tools and resources in different ways to meet the needs of the women that they're serving. If we're seeing different multiplication, yes, that of it, different, what's the word? Variations, yes, I don't know.
It's being misused. We like you all, but it is. So for instance, what could happen is somebody could say this is IF, and then they teach something that is completely unbiblical, and it now has our name on it. So we've just got to be careful with how the brand gets used.
Well, even talking about like the different, we have a wide variety of speakers, and we're at If Gathering, we know that they'll all talk about issues that they will all talk about the Bible. They're not going to address divisive issues. On their own, they might go and talk about something that is an issue of the day, or they'll have opinions outside of what they're teaching at If. And just because someone's associated with If, and you use the If logo, but it's some talk from some other context, we can't, like, that's not representative of the core values of If Gathering. And so just people are making the connections and attaching the name If and the logo for If to different things that they have created on their own using If voices, which is awesome, but you cannot use If, anything, unless it is the content and the tools and resources that are created
by If
Gathering.
which are If Equip, If Table, If Gathering,
right?
And then like If we've given you permission to use If, and then like your geographical place, whether that be your city or your church or something like that. And it's and so like if you so let's get to the articles. What a couple ways this plays out. So you should not use, like we just said, If : and or If Gathering on any like printed materials, decorations, gifts that are not pre-approved and pre-produced by us.
Right.
So again, we'll work through those different scenarios and how that looks. You're not allowed to create merchandise and sell merchandise. That contains any variations of the If logo or trademark.
Right. So, I mean, y'all can all imagine how these scenarios play out. And so while it feels like we're creating some steadfast rules, we're having to, because If is getting bigger, and we are unleashing y'all, and so we want to be clear on how you can use the tools and resources that we're creating.
Absolutely.
Not use.
Like Jenny said many times, we're building this plane in midair, and so we are learning right alongside with you. So you can
so many of you would not misuse it, and so I know you're thinking, how would I misuse it? But so many would, and so it's just so big, and there's so little control, and we aren't control type people. If you've noticed, we really are release, unleash, go, do your thing, and so it's caused a few problems. Certain days, certain problems.
So say, for example, I want to gather together a bunch of families, and we'll watch like a talk from that gathering, but then we'll also do a lot of different things on the way.
Right.
Can I call it like If Family Night, or If?
No.
That's the deal. So
you could say the verbiage that we feel like is most reflective is that whatever you've created, like Family Night, you can say inspired by If Gathering. So to make the connection in people's minds that's where you've gotten the inspiration for whatever event you've created. But it cannot be branded
If : Family Night.
Family Night.
Right. So if you're complementing, changing the tools and resources that we're providing to make it fit your like overall goals, use your own ministry name and acknowledge the fact that you're using some of those tools from If Gathering by saying inspired by If Gathering as a part of the like subtitle or byline or whatever you want to call it. So that's just like a safe and good thing for you to do. So a couple things that we're going to be providing this year that you haven't seen in years past to help bridge the gap in trying to protect this, our logo and brand is like last year, actually, you will get custom If local graphic, but a packet of pre-approved marketing materials. We're really going to flesh those out a lot more and provide a lot more of those, so you are not creating those on your own. You are using our pre-approved versions of that for your local gathering.
When will that be available?
It will be available. We actually have a bunch to upload as of tomorrow, but we will continue to add them throughout the winter months. And then the last is an updated experience kit. So last year we provided for $10 a download that had name tags and a bunch of different signs and graphics for your local gathering. And we're going to do that again this year with a new look and fresh feel for your local gathering.
And make requests. If you tell us,
Yeah,
hey, this is what we
absolutely.
need, and this is what we wish we had, we will do our best to make it affordable and in a way that you can print it and you can cause it to happen for your group. We just need to know what you all need.
Absolutely.
And we'll also have some new, like, updated items in our shop in January that are reflective of the theme, and like last year the pins went gangbusters.
Yes.
Gathering pins, because that's just something little that women can take away, and it has the feel and from it. The other thing I want to say is that a lot of the artists that we work with, like our friend Jen Sprinkle, who does the amazing hand lettering of the verses and things, we also want to protect their work. And so although it's beautiful and you will see that that used in our journals and things, that's something that she's created for us, and that's the work that she does. So I want to make sure that that doesn't get pulled and put on t-shirts or other things too, that we want to respect the people that have made things for us.
Yeah. So we're excited about this year. We're growing, learning. We've really worked hard over this last year to address a lot of the pain points that local leaders have had, and we will continue to do that, and we will continue to be equipped. And as Emily said it best, chill, enjoy the holidays.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to work behind the scenes, and in January expect another Visioncast and a ton of tools and resources to be coming your way. And it is an honor and privilege to do that. So
We're so proud of you
I
guys.
think the other thing that you just remind me of is that, we are so, like, we have people so engaged right now in November, which is so fun, and that y'all have already have women that are signing up to attend events.
Yeah,
Like,
yes,
that
a
is
lot of women.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, usually it is so hard
Yeah.
to plan an event in early February and have people think about it before the calendar turns into the new year. And so y'all are doing a great job, but know that you're really going to see that registration surge in January that we see every year. We're like, is anyone
going to come this year?
Like, do they know? But everybody, that it turns January 1st and everyone's like, oh, it's around the corner. Like, it will. It's going to come. And so
no one's behind.
No one's behind. We're all winning.
We're ahead of schedule, right?
So thank you so much for being a part. Yes, we are going to pray. And I just want you to know that it is so humbling to steward this thing, because you all are incredible. And all the time, people, what I say when people ask me what if is, I say it is these women that have risen up in their places to love their people well. And it is absolutely beautiful. So we feel honored to get to serve you and to try our best to keep up with you and the things that we want to get you in a timely manner so that you all can do the work that God has put in your heart to do. So let me pray for you, and again, thank you. This is so small. This is 2,000 people in Austin if it's not for you out there leading. Guys, we are your servants. We are here because you have saved us. You have revealed yourself to us in such a way that you're so dear. You are so loving, and we want so badly for our lives to reflect that love, to reflect your great sacrifice that you've made for us. And I just thank you for all of these women out there that are spending their lives, that are being spent for the souls of people. And I am so moved by their faith. I'm moved by their sacrifice. God, in so many ways, they work harder than any of us do. And you are blessing it, and you are moving through them. And for those that are afraid, that don't know if anybody's going to sign up, that don't know if this could even possibly matter in their neighborhood or their city, God, I just pray for faith. I pray that they would be obedient and faithful anyway, and that you would give them a just mighty wind of your Spirit, God, moving in their midst. And God, we ask for protection over this ministry, God. You have blessed it so much. We are so honored to lead it and to be a part of it. And we just ask for continued favor and protection. The enemy has come, God, to seek to kill and steal and destroy. And I know that is true for anybody that has been a part of this. It is messy and hard. And in many days, God, we wonder if it's worth it, but we know that your kingdom is coming, and that we want to build for things that we can't see yet, and we want to love for people that don't know you yet. And so, God, would you help us to be faithful? Thank you for this incredible team. Thank you for Amy and Lindsay and all the many people behind the scenes, God, that are making this happen. In Jesus' name, amen. Love you guys. Peace out. See you later.